Hello there, my name's Vince from My Mate Vince, and in this video today we have another Amazon return job lot. So items that have been sent back to Amazon as faulty, so customer returns. So hopefully there should be some interesting fixes in here, and that's what we're going to be doing in this video, taking numerous different items and trying to fix them. Some of them are bigger items, some will be smaller, some won't be fixable, some may already be working, but hopefully it should be interesting. So let's get started straight away on the very first item, and let's see how many things we can actually fix.
Wireless doorbell.
Here we have a wireless doorbell, a door chime, and this appears to have life because when I press this button here, it flashes, and I think there's another button which makes, there we go. But nothing's happening when I press this one here. So let's bring it over to the mat and see if we can work out what's the matter. Why is it not picking up the signal from here? Okay, so we can assume that this is working, unless of course there's a problem in here which isn't picking up the signal. But this is going to be battery operated. Right, we have a CR2032. So let's measure that, see if we have voltage in it. These should be 3 volts. Yeah, 3.3, so that's absolutely fine. Right, so that's a little aerial to push out the signal. Okay, I can see what's wrong with it. Can you see what's wrong with it? I'll give you a few seconds. I'll zoom in a bit. Now can you see what's wrong? So if you look at the shape of the battery, this is going to be the negative at the bottom here, and this is the positive. So fine, that's going to connect to the negative, no problem. But what's connecting to the positive? That's going to be connecting to the negative as well, isn't it? Maybe a little bit of the positive is going to be putting a short on. So somebody's forced the battery down heavily on this side, knocking that one flat. Bit of plastic there, where's that come from? I can't see where that plastic's come from. All looks intact, doesn't it? Oh well. Okay, so let's push this down here and we should find that it will probably start working. So that needs to be a little bit lower to go under there. So maybe this isn't necessarily a customer's fault as such. Maybe it was like this. You know, that needs to be tucked more underneath here, doesn't it? To make it easier to get the battery in. There we go, underneath there. I'm wondering if originally there was going to be a hole in the board to allow that prong to go through, because that prong, if anything, is putting it, you know, shoving it up this way where we don't want it there. Anyway, that's going to be okay now. I'm just going to try to bend that down a little bit at the top. Not that much. There we go. Right, so now when we put that in, you've got to put it in like so, rather than just shoving it straight down from the top. So you can see what they did. They shoved it straight down from here and crushed it instead of going under. Right, I can already see it lighting up. Brilliant. And I suppose it doesn't matter that it's a bit loose there, because that's what that is going to hold in. That's going to hold that in there, so that's fine. Right, I think this is going to be working just fine because you can see it's brand new. Okay, let's plug it back in and now let's see if it starts communicating. Okay, it's working absolutely fine. There's loads of different chimes you can choose from. To me, they all sound pretty much horrible, but this one is the most calming off the lot. You ready? There you go. And you can also change the volume off it as well. What a nice easy fix. Now, you're going to like this, not a lot, but you're going to like it. You've got to use your problem solving skills here. You're only allowed to move one of the PCB ways and you have to reverse the order. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. You're only allowed to remove one and put it somewhere else to reverse the order into 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, I was shown this in a cocktail bar in Mayfair. A complete stranger came up to me and put down a load of coasters and said, "You have 30 seconds to solve this, otherwise you're a thick," and used a rude word. Now, I'm normally pretty good at problem solving, I think anyway, and I couldn't get it, which is really annoying. And the guy I was with did manage to get it, and he swore he's never seen it before. So yeah, 30 seconds, you've probably got about 15 seconds left. You can only remove one of these and put it somewhere else to reverse the order. And it's not a trick, it's very easy to do once you know. But I didn't know, but I think it's a great little trick and it's stayed with me ever since. It's about 3 years ago now. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did you get it? If you did, fair play, you're better than me. I didn't get it, and that's why I am a thick you-know-what. So here we go. Moving one of them now. It's really, really easy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you going to do to that 4 to make it into 1? It's so simple. You just need to move that. And now we have 1, 2, 3, and make this into 4 here. So that's it. By removing one of them, you've reversed the order. Love that little trick there. Can you guess who's the sponsor of today's video? It's not hard, is it? PCB Way is your one-stop solution for all things PCB fabrication and assembly. From rapid prototyping to full-scale production, PCB Way delivers top quality products. So whether you're a seasoned engineer or a hobbyist just starting out, PCB Way's user-friendly interface makes ordering your own custom PCBs very easy. And PCB Way do a variety of different services, including but not limited to assembling your PCBs, CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection molding. So when you're ready to take your designs to the next level, look no further than PCB Way and bring your ideas to life. So as always, a massive thank you to PCB Way for sponsoring my mate Vin's channel. Hopefully they will sponsor me throughout 2025 as well, like they have done in 23 and 24. Keeps me in cocktails, which keeps me happy. Let's get back to the video.
Steam iron.
Okay, here we have a Russell Hobbs steam iron, 2400 watts. I've got it plugged into the mains here, yet no light comes on. So it's not heating up and there doesn't seem to be any power light whatsoever. So whether I turn that knob, press the buttons, nothing's happening here. So it looks like it's completely dead. So let's bring it over to the mat and see if we can find out what's wrong. First things first, we will check the fuse. To me, it looks brand new. It doesn't look like it's ever had any use at all. £13 amp. Meter on continuity. Excellent. Fuse is okay. Right, it must be something in the iron. So let's try and take it apart. To begin with, we have 2 screws at the back here, and they're kind of like Y tri-screws, Y screws here. It's like tri-wing. Right, so that's come off there. Right, I've got another 2 screws down the front here. Let's undo them. Maybe this whole top section comes off. Right, let's them out. And does this have to come out, I wonder? See, I can see a screw post here. So I'm wondering whether this rubber thing comes off. But this rubber thing looks like it's moulded in. In fact, it is moulded in. And this is just a locating pin. Right, I think there's going to be more screws underneath here. That comes out. That comes out. It's very similar to an iron I took apart in another video not that long ago, a couple of months ago. Now, are you going to come out? I think you are. Oh, it looks like there's a little clip. I think it's held in with a little clip. A little clip just here. See if I can undo that. There we go. Result. There we go, that was the clip. Okay, now, can I undo that? Not easily. There we go. Oops. Right, I've got to remember to locate that back on at the end, if I can fix it. Right, so now we have a massive screw here. Let's undo that. And this is going to have to come out. There might be another screw under here. Or maybe not. Let's undo these two here. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's just a little clip at the front here. Right, okay, we're definitely getting there now, so you don't have to take that off at all, which is nice. So we have wires coming in here. Oh, these two go off to the light. Let's untangle that a little bit. Well, all the wires look intact. So I don't think there's an issue here. We're going to have to get into here. I think it's going to be to do with the thermostat. Right, are you going to come off? Yes, you are. We're in. Okay, so we're going to have the live wire coming straight down from the plug into a wire nut, I think, yeah. And the blue one going into plug and going into a wire nut. And I think it's on the thicker brown ones, the two small brown ones are for the actual light. So let's go to continuity and make sure we've got it from the plug right the way to here. So neutral is going to be here. So we should have this going to here, which we do. And we should have live going to here, which we do. But do we have live go into here? No. Now if we turn this, do we have live go into here? So let's leave this on here and see if I can balance this here. So it's going to here, but it should be going to here. Now, let's see. No. So it made the clicking noise, but it's not coming through. So it's a faulty little thermostat here. Why are you faulty? Can you hear that? It's making the click, but nothing's coming through. Yep. So if I was to go between here and here, which would be easier, here and here, you can hear it's not working. So zoom right in and see why it's not working. This is the same problem I had on the other iron that I did, and it was dirt, I think. It looked like a hair was in there, and it was stopping it from connecting. So let's see what's happening here. So why are those contacts there not making a contact? So we have the brown wire here, which has to be connected to this middle one, yeah. And then why is it not connecting to this one here? That connects to here. So the brown one, just to make sure it's not a fault on the actual mechanism, you know, not the contacts but the mechanism. So the brown one's here, yeah? So we can hear it comes up here, here, and it goes across to here, so there. So it's all on this top plate here, but it's not on here. And it's not on here because you can see it's not connected. But when we do this and it makes the clicking noise, let's see, are you actually closing the gap? You are. But why are you not making a contact? I think I might be already able to see a bit of dirt. So now we should have it. So this is to here. Why is it not to here? So you can see we haven't got it between here and here. Why? Let's see if we can look right the way in there. So let's loosen it up. There must be a bit of dirt or something. I think I can already see. I can maybe see something. Is it just me, or is there a hair there again? Let me get my finger behind it so we can hopefully see more. There's something there, isn't there? Look, can you see it? And that's stopping it from making a contact. This is the same as the other iron I had. I need to open up as much as possible. Yeah, that is as much as possible. I need to get a little bit of paper, I think. Let's get a bit of paper. It's amazing that something so small can stop an iron from working. Can't see what I'm doing. Right, I'm in there. Is that gone? Yeah, I think that's gone. Right, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's put the paper in and then pull the paper away. You've got to be really careful with these contacts, apparently. They're easy to damage. So you wouldn't want to use sandpaper on them because then it would just start, I believe, start arcing on them, and it wouldn't make a good contact. Right, you can see now that that is fully closed on there. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to do that a couple of times, and hopefully that will be enough to clean it up. It's just amazing that it all comes down. All this plastic and metal comes down to the tiniest of tiny little contacts. I don't know if I was on it there. I'm going to do it just once more. Then we'll see if it's working. Right, okay. Now, let's see, are you working now? I'm going to say yes. Yay, there you go. Ah, annoying, that blocked up the view. There. Okay, and now do that. So you can hear now it's not working, and as you turn this, it will start working. There. 100% that's going to work now. And that's another bimetallic strip there. I'm not actually sure what that does or doesn't do. What does that do there? Because it doesn't look like it's solid underneath that. So what's that bimetallic strip for? What does it disconnect? I can't see what it disconnects because there's nothing on here. Would it be for another model? I'm wondering if that would be for another model maybe. And they just use the same sole plate for all different models. Not sure. Anyway, I know 100% that we fixed this. So let's put it back together. So if you know what that bimetallic strip's for, I'm talking about the round one, let me know in the comment section down below, because I can't actually see what it's releasing. I can understand if there was a hole underneath it, because you'd be like, oh, it must be to do with pressure building up and it's like a safety mechanism, but it just seems to be sat there not doing anything. So yeah, please put it down into the comments below, because I can't see anything below it and I can't see anything above it, which is a little strange. Anyway, it just shows you, just because I've done one of these a couple of months ago, I was so much more used to working on this one. And I've only fixed a couple of irons. So, well, actually, I've done some steam generator ones as well, the big ones, but they're completely different. But imagine now if you had 50 of these to look at. After probably doing 5, 6, 7 of them, you really would start to become a bit of an expert. And I reckon you could start fixing them quite quickly and probably pinpoint the faults even before taking them apart. So doing something over and over again is good because you get used to it. The problem is it can then become very boring quite quickly because you know something inside out, and often then the challenge might have gone. Obviously not for me, I've only done 2 of them, but if you had loads of these, I think you could possibly make money, but at the same time I think you could quite possibly get bored as well. There we go, so it still looks brand new and it's all gone together absolutely lovely. So let's plug it in and now see if we have the light coming on when we move this around. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's do that quickly here and then I'll put some water in it and see if it generates any steam in the other room. Okay, here we go. So now, turn this. There you go, blue light's on. See the blue light there? And then turn it and it goes off. On, off. Let's see if it's getting hot. Yeah, I can already hear it. Right, so it's up to max temperature, light's gone out. If I press this button, it sprays my hand with water. So hopefully you can see it's getting wet there. And this one here delivers a big burst of steam. Quite powerful. Wow. There we go, and you can see it's on again when it gets up to temperature, then that will go off again in 30 seconds or so. It's off already. What a nice little fix. Love ones like that.
Soundbar.
Next up we have this Sharp soundbar and subwoofer. I featured this very briefly in a previous Advent special video, and I've basically done a little bit of fault finding on the inside and it looks like one of the chips has blown up. So the chips have arrived from China, so let's pop it in there and see if it starts working. The subwoofer already looks like it's working because it looks like there's power, but this soundbar here has no power whatsoever. So let me bring it over to the mount. I'm going to show you what I did so you're fully up to speed, and then let's put the chip in and see if it starts working. If it doesn't, there might be further fault finding. Maybe something's causing the chip to blow up. Okay, recap time. So there was just 3 screws I think at the back to remove this. It came out really easy. I had to disconnect a few of the connectors going off to the speakers and stuff. But basically this chip here is blown up. But to fault find it, let's just pop this bit down on the ground. What I did is I plugged it in, and I've seen if we had voltage here, because you can see that this is like the main power supply here, and this is going to convert the AC mains voltage down to DC lower voltage. I think it was 28 volts from memory, but let's see what's happening. And basically this is just some weird heat sink here, if you're wondering what that is there. So let's plug it in. I'm going to keep my hands well clear, because obviously if I touch this in here, I could electrocute myself. Oh, I need to put a little screw there as well. In fact, I could do that up now, because otherwise I'm going to end up putting too much force on that. There we go. That's not going to flex now when I put that in there. Right, okay, let's plug it in now, and I'm going to show you that we'll have something like 28 volts there. Keeping my hands well clear. And it goes. I'm going to go onto volts DC, and if I go here, keeping my hands clear of everything, can you see? Okay, 23 volts. Yeah. So we know that the main power supply is okay. That led me to think it's something on this board, and then when I looked on this board, I seen that there's a chip down here. Let me zoom in. I'm now unplugged, but I've still got to be careful because there will be voltage in that big capacitor there. Hopefully by the time I get the chip out, it will have disappeared. If not, what I'll do is I'll put a resistor across the bottom of it there to drain away the power, turn it into heat. But can you see here, that chip there is blown up. Right, so let's get the chip and put a new one in, take this one out. Let's see if it starts working. From memory, it was some power management. Actually, it was a buck converter. So what it's doing is it's converting higher voltage down to lower voltage. So I'm adding flux to the old chip. And this is the new chip here. And I've got it in the correct orientation with the dot in that corner. And these are the ones here. Luckily, even though it was burnt, I could still make out the markings. And it's 3284H. Can't even remember what I paid for them. The very fact I got 5 of them, they were probably only £1 each or £2 each. I'm probably got that delivered for between £5 and £10. Not a lot of money at all. Well worth fixing if it does indeed fix it. Right, let's zoom in, get some hot air on this, and let's swap the chip over. Now, is this wave soldered? No, I can't see any glue blobs anywhere around these caps and resistors, so hopefully it should come off okay. There is a heatsink in the middle of the chip, so it's going to be a little bit harder to remove because that's going to be drawing the heat away. And I'm going to be putting it on this way around with the dot in that corner. I'm going to try to angle the heat away from the capacitors, but it's going to be hard. I'm at 450 degrees Celsius, airflow 150 out of a possible 200. It's not wanting to come off. I may have to add, I'm just worried that that cap's so close. You know what? I'm going to add low melt solder because of the heat sink in the middle. I'll probably have to have the heat on for a good minute or so. By then, the cap may then explode. So let's, you can already see it was melting at the bottom there. But that's just a cover. Let's get low melt on that. It will still be hard to come off because of the middle pad. So this is going to reduce the temperature right down, at least on these pins. Low melt solder is expensive, but it just goes a long way. You don't need much of it at all. Now I wonder, should I just pop the capacitor off? Would that be a better idea? I probably would. There we go. Let me just wick away the holes to make it easy to put back in. Here we go. Right, now we can use heat without worrying about, I mean, this is quite far away even though it looks very close. You'll see that this will melt really quick. It's already gone. There we go. Much easier. Right, I'm going to clean it up. And I'm going to clean it with some isopropyl alcohol. I can see that there's a tiny bit of pad damage, but the chip is still going to... the legs of the chip are still going to be welt on it. Can you see here? The just there, you see the end has come away. Unless of course it's folded over. It might have folded over. Maybe when I get the iron I might be able to... I don't know if that's folded or whether it's gone. Well, let's get the iron, see if we can unfold it. No, I think it's actually, I think it's gone. Okay, never mind. Right, I am going to put a tiny bit of solder in the middle. And you know what I mean, I might as well, I have to put this on by heat because I'm not going to be able to melt the middle, you see. So I don't want much there, but I can put some on here. There we go, that's nice. Now let's add plenty of flux and get that chip back on. See if this then comes to life. Now it won't need as much heat going back on because I've used leaded solder rather than unleaded. So while I'm doing that, I'll shout out the My Mate Vince Massive. The Massive members this month are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes on YouTube, Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeeps.com, DJ VG, Pigsy, Anthony Dean, Ross Melanson, Shigate, Rickard Berglund, Soul Reaver 555, Shamsa Al Sabadi, Stuart Park, Stephen from the Broken Past on YouTube, Lee Benz, 360 Picture UK, and the My Mate Vince fan club over on Facebook. Yes, believe it or not, there is a fan club over on Facebook, so you can check it out and you can become a member if you so desire. I think they've got about 1,600 members on there at the moment. I'm not on there, so don't message me on there, but I'm not going to join my own fan club, clearly. But yeah, it does exist, which is quite a novelty. I'm all over the place today. Ah, oh, come on, Vince. Right, just pushing it down. I'm going to neaten that up with the soldering iron. Right, more flux. There we go. Lovely. That's well crooked, that one, isn't it? Was that crooked when I started? It's going to work, but it's annoying me a bit. Let's clean this up and just try to straighten up that one. Yeah, it looks like it was crooked before I started. It's still going to be on the pads on either side, but while the area is really hot anyway, it's not actually going to take that much longer to put the heat on it again and just straighten up this little coil here, this inductor. So yeah, I'll straighten up the inductor. I put the capacitor back on. Also, I do straighten up my chip a little bit. It was just a millimetre or so high, so I just pop it back down about a millimetre. Give everything a final clean up, and then we're ready to put it back in and see if it starts working. Do you know what I don't think I've ever asked? Why do they put foam on items like Bluetooth speakers and, well, speakers in general? Is it to do with vibration, or is it some sort... I mean, that's not interference, is it? But I've noticed it, that they have the foam on speakers. I presume it's to do with vibration, but is it to protect the board? So if these were vibrating, that this might dampen that a little bit, and then the shock's not going through to the board. Is that what it's for? I don't know, but I've definitely noticed it a lot. You know what, I think I am just going to put the screws back in, because there's only 3 of them. Then if it works, I've finished up with the video. Right, there we go. I'll tell you what, let's just plug it in while we're here and see if we have any lights lighting up that didn't light up before. Or would it go bang? Plug it in now. Yeah, we've got a little red light, look at that. We didn't have that before. If you can see that or not. Why is that not shown in the camera? There you go, see that tiny little one there? Oh, there we go. When I turned it on, it went to a white light. Right, I think I have to learn what's happening. Green for source, orange, well it looks like it's working, blue. Maybe blue's Bluetooth. Right, let's get me, I'm going to get the subwoofer and stuff connected and then see. I think it's going to work just fine. It looks brand new. Well, it's not brand new because clearly the chips failed, but it doesn't look like it's had much use. Okay, I've been messing around with it. I've connected up via Bluetooth to my phone and it appears to be working just fine. So I looked up the price of the chips. I paid £5.12 for 5 of them. So to fix this did cost me £5.12, but I have 4 spare chips. So if you were to take just a chip on its own, you're going to be paying £1.02. I think it's well worth fixing, and I think it's quite a nice product. This looks a little bit cheap, but I did do a bass test. You can do a bass test on YouTube where it will have these big speakers and put the volume up, and every time the speakers do this, you can hear your speaker do that, and you can feel it as well. It's pumping air out the front here, and the actual speaker is at the bottom there. So yeah, it's doing its thing, which is good. So I like that little fix there. I'm going to play you a little bit of music, and when I'm doing that, I'm just going to be pressing EQ to show you the different, I presume, equalizers, so you can have different sounds. Maybe one's for, like, I don't know, theatre, one's for movies. I don't know, I need to look up the instructions. But anyway, this is Family Tree by 9 Violets. So if you haven't already, check out 9 Violets. Matt, who's in the band, is also a viewer and a Patreon of the channel. So yeah, this is Family Tree. And now I'm going to hit equalizer and different lights will come up here at the front.
Man, you got the craziest mom, and your daddy sucks his thumb. Your sister drives her head by the fire.
That's my favourite one.
And your brother is a natural born liar. Your granddad wears his teeth to bed, and your granny would be better off dead.
There you go.
You've got a dog and a goat.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that one there.
Bosch Weed Whacker.
Strum a dear boy.
So here we have a Bosch called a brush cutter, but it's a kind of strimmer type thing, or weed whacker, maybe it's known as in America. It's extremely heavy and it looks really well made. They call an AFS 2337. Great marketing there, Bosch, nice and easy to remember. Anyway, I don't think this is going to be a circuitry problem. This sounds like a mechanical problem. Let me get the tripod and show you the noise it's making. There's works here, there's nothing happening at the bottom. Okay, currently I've got a blade at the bottom, but you can also use this. I used to have a Flymo one years ago, but that just used a tiny little bit of nylon. This really does look like it would last and not break very easy. Also, it's nice because in the handle here, they give you 2 more of these. So even if they break, it's nice and easy to have them on hand to change. So it sounds like it's been well thought out. Right, watch this. When I press the button here, it's making the right noises, but that blade isn't turning at all. So right at the very bottom, the blade doesn't spin. I don't want to do it too much because it doesn't sound right. So I think what we should do is, let's unplug it for safety, and let's separate it from here to begin with. And let's see if when I turn the blade, the axle is turning. Because as far as I know, I've connected the blade up properly. In fact, first of all, let's see if this is turning in here, because we have a little axle just in here. Right, you should be able to just see the tip of it there. see it turning. Right, so it's not a problem there. So it's either a problem with where it connects to here or with this itself. So what we're now going to do is, I can see this here. So let's turn the blade and see if this turns. No. So that there, look at that. Okay, so now, interesting. Right, well, let's dismantle this. I put this together. I definitely did it correct, so I did it as the instructions. We need to see where the top bit stops turning down here. I bet it's going to be where it's kind of the bevel gear thing down here, I bet. Right, now this has a reverse thread on it. So I've got to go righty to loosen it. And the blade currently has a plastic safety thing on. Okay, so that comes off, this comes off. Now, this is turning. So is this thing turning the top? No. Oh no, it's in the mechanism itself. Well, I don't think that's going to be repairable, but what we'll do is we'll disconnect all this and we'll see. Okay, so we have Allen key ones here. Okay, so that will come out there actually, and then at least then we can prove that the shaft is okay. That's got some sort of Loctite on the bottom of it, blue. And so has this one. Okay, let's keep that there. Now, are you going to work your way off? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh, okay. Well, something doesn't look healthy in there. Oh, hold on. Look in here. This might be fixable. What do you spy? Can you see anything? Can you see there looks to be a circlip, and it doesn't seem to be actually in position, does it? Look. See here? Interesting. Right, okay. So, one second now. When we turn the end here, is this going to turn here? Ah, look at that. So that goes all the way there, and that does turn. You can see I'm turning this end with my finger, and I can see that this is turning here. So 100% that's spinning, and that doesn't look worn. Also, hold on, there's metal here as well. Oh no. Oh no. A bit of broken metal here. But that might be okay. That just that doesn't look like it's going to be anything too. Ah, do you know what it is? Oh, I bet you there's a groove that the circlip sits in. Yeah. So, for example, you know, like this, and I bet that metal swarf there. Sorry, hold on. I bet that metal swarf there has broken off, so now the circlip just comes straight off. There's no kind of shoulder for the circlip to hit against. Bet that's what it is. So that's unfortunate, but there's only a slight shard of metal there, so there's still a bit of shoulder for the circlip to sit into. So what I do is I get some pliers. I haven't got circlip pliers with me, I just use normal pliers, and I get the circlip back into position. And now let's put it just back together, and let's see now that the circlip's back in position whether or not this will work. Well, it might be my imagination, but I think I can hear it in the motor up top. Right, let's move these out of the way so I don't have them flying up in my face at 1000 RPM or whatever this thing does. And let's put it round this way. We'll we'll see now when I plug it in whether that goes round or not. There it goes. Nah, that's not right. No, it's not engaging properly. Why? I've unplugged again. That's definitely not engaging right. I can't see what's wrong with it. Unless I wonder, is the play coming from here? Is this not pushing down? Because there's lots of, look, there's a huge amount of play in this. So that's it fully out there. You might be able to just see the tip. And watch this. It goes all the way. No, 1 second. It went more than that before. It went more than that. There. That's gone all the way into there. Look, there's that much play. I'm now thinking the problem isn't here. Weirdly though, that wasn't spinning, was it? That wasn't spinning before. So why? How can we have two faults? Oh, it's not spinning again. No, it is. It is when I go down. Sorry, the fault was never here. It was just the fact that this has been pushed up. The reason this is pushed up is because the other thing is faulty. Interesting. The other thing's faulty, not this. That's just slipped out. That's all that's happened. I mean, great news that I seen the circlip out of place, but I don't really think that was affecting anything anyway. Brilliant. Okay, even if I can't fix it, I understand it more, which is good. So let's get this thing over to the mat and see if we can work out what's happening with it. Why is that axle so loose? I love things like this because to begin with, I was sure it was the bottom bit, and then bit by bit you work your way through it, and even without any knowledge of a piece of equipment like this, I now know 100% the fault is on here. Why is it on here? What's happened? Because yes, it's had use, but it doesn't look like it's had years and years of use. So what's happened? Is there something weak in here? Is there a bit of plastic that's gone? That's responsible for holding that shaft in, because clearly the shaft is spinning. It's just that it's too far this way. There's too much play in it. Sorry, too far this way. Right, let's see. Are you going to come apart? Yes, you are. Now, what are you going to uncover? Wow, that's heavy. Mainly because there's a massive weight in here. I wonder why they put a huge weight in here. Oh, is it just a balance? Try to balance it out a bit in the user's hands. Maybe. Just going to take these screws out. Hoping they're all the same. Now, okay, let's see what's happening. So we have too much play in here. Why? Woo! Actually, I'm going to leave that on there because otherwise I'm going to get grease everywhere. So, what's happening here? Have we got play here? No, we haven't got play here. So why on earth have we got so much play here? Has this thing moved? 1 second now. That thing, hold on. What on earth is going on? Right, you were there, yes? Yeah, because we've got 3 holes there. I'm really confused. Hold on. Is it that little kink that's caused it? Surely not. That's only taken away a millimetre, isn't it? Let's take it out completely. Is there any more kinks? No. Has it snapped? Don't think so. So as far as I can see, the shaft, the axle, is too short and it's not making a good contact with the ends. At the very beginning of the video, it wasn't spinning the blade at the end at all. And then when I had it on just now, it's kind of spinning the blade maybe a quarter of the times it should do. So I think it's just slipping, but I'm trying to work out where is the shortness of the shaft coming from. I thought it worked its way back into the handle, but it can't because the motor's there and the motor's rock solid and we know the motor is spinning. So the shortness of the shaft must be coming from somewhere else. Well, I've got it connected through from there all the way to here. And if you have a look, the only slack we have is this way, not this way, yeah? So this is the furthest back it will go. And if I was to put that where it needs to be, which is there, can you see this goes all the way to here? And if we pinch here with our thumb, you can see how deep down that is. That's way past that bit there. So I'm now thinking that in there isn't quite so square anymore. I think it may be rounded off. So let's have a close look in there and see if we can see if it's rounded. I don't think it does. What's going on? It's a little bit, isn't it, at the edge? Oh, it's a little bit there. Can you see down the middle? Not quite square there, is it? All there. I think the end of it's going in here, and I think with the resistances of having the blade and everything on, I think it's spinning. Let's take it out and let's see if we can actually mimic that. I don't think I'm going to get the strength from my hands to turn it. But let's see. Like I said, it doesn't want to go in. Let's turn it at the top. There we go. Okay, so that has to be in there. I've got no way of, I've got no way of doing this. I've convinced myself that's where the play is. I can't prove it. I haven't got the strength to turn it by hand, you see. But when I had the blade on, it was spinning. I think it's ever so slightly worn here. I bet you if we were to take a width measurement here and here, I mean, I don't know if it's my eyes playing tricks with me, but it does seem to be going in a little bit. Can you see there? It doesn't seem to be as square here as here. So now, I wonder, two things. Should I try? Clearly we need a new one of these and probably a new one of these. But if either of them were replaced, it would probably work for a while. Part of me is wondering... No, I was going to say to cut this down, but that's just going to make it worse. I need to kind of pack out the pieces in here. And even then we have the issue with the circlip. I don't actually think it's fixable without replacement parts. And I can't even see how I'm going to be able to pack out the pieces in there. I'm just wondering, if I was to try to bend this to mash it up a bit, would it, if I had it wider on two sides, in essence, if I could crush it a bit, yeah, if I got a hammer and crushed it a bit, it's going to fill up the hole more, not on top and bottom, but on the sides. I wonder would that be enough to make it work? Because the thing is, it's not working at the moment anyway. I hope this is making sense. At the beginning of the video, I thought that maybe the axle was too short and it was only just barely going in there. But now I know that the axle isn't too short because I've done a couple of measurements and it looks like the axle is going in there a couple of centimetres. So I think that's ample. I'm thinking now that there's a bit of wear on the axle. And also there's a bit of wear on the ends bit. So it should be a nice square drive going into a square socket. But I think the square drive is slightly rounded and I think the square socket is slightly rounded. And then when you've got the blade and everything on, there's a lot of weight there. I think when it's spinning, it's slipping a bit like that fan that I did. The blade was spinning, but because it wasn't clamped onto the axle, it wasn't spinning at top speed. And I think this is spinning a bit, but it's also allowing play, so it's kind of the axle's just spinning in the shaft. So if I was to crush down the axle, I think it's going to make it slightly wider, which is going to fill up the square socket a bit more. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to take this out to the garden and give it a good beating. Also, I forgot to mention, just before the public beating, the circlip is not in it anymore. The circlip came out again with another shard of metal. So there's no point in having the circlip in there because it hasn't got a groove to sit in, so it's not doing anything. The circlip should be there to keep the gears and everything in place. But they seem pretty much in place anyway, even without it. I think it's starting to deform a tiny bit. When I say a tiny bit, I really mean a tiny bit. It is definitely starting to deform. So what follows is 5 minutes of me whacking this with a hammer, which is very nicely therapeutic. I think using a hammer sometimes is good for the soul when you can really let loose. If you have to tap in a delicate little nail, it's not that nice. But if you've got like a massive sledgehammer and your job is to take down a wall with it or something like that, it can be very, very nice. Even this here, I can hit this pretty much as hard as I can, and it's not really making that much difference. And it feels nice because you're using nearly all your strength on it, and it's barely making any difference, but it just feels good. Like any pent up anger that you might have, don't take it out on road rage on other people. Get yourself a hammer, hit a bit of metal, and yeah, I think you will find all that pent up energy just going. I remember watching on, I think it was Newsround years ago, there was a thing where people used to roar like a lion. They used to pay to go somewhere to roar like a lion. Whether it was made up or not, I don't know. I don't think it was April Fool's. And clearly, whoever came up with that idea was making money from that because they were probably charging like £20 per person per session. So imagine that. You get an RSJ, buy a load of hammers, they're going to last forever, and the RSJ is going to last forever, and just let people come and beat the hell out of it. Give them ear defenders so you're not going to get sued, and let them beat the hell out of the RSJ with a hammer, take out all their aggression. I think that would keep them calm, even the angriest person, for the next week. What I'm doing now is, after beating it, the axle is a little bit too big now, unfortunately, but that's good. I think that's a good thing. Now I need to get the end on, but it's not sliding on anymore because the axle's gone too wide on two of the planes, top and bottom. So now I'm trying to hit the end on with a hammer. And that way then, I'm hoping the axle will deform itself in the actual socket. So, you know, the square drive will now deform itself in the socket, which is exactly what I want, because hopefully then it will be a good grip. So let me just show you a little bit of that. Well, I guess we now know why the circlip's in there, because it comes straight out otherwise. Right, what's happening here now? That might actually be a bit of a blessing. I think that might be a blessing, because now I can tap that on. Oh, hold on. Gears are gone here. Ah, no, this is game over. The, don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see those gears there? They're gone. Now, maybe that was me with the hammer in. I wonder, would that have been me with the hammer in? Or is that why it's skipping? Maybe all along. Do you know, that wouldn't have been me with the hammer in. That's what's happened. It's skipping there, and that's why it's not going around properly. Wow, so the metal gears have gone, because these ones in here, these look okay. So it wasn't wear after all on that, it was this here that had gone. Oh, what a shame. Oh well, I can't fix that. I wonder whether you can actually buy those gears. Well, just to finish up the video, I'm going to tap that on and then, yeah, I'll have a quick look online, see if you can buy the gears, because sometimes Bosch can be very good. And if you were to, but no, I need a new housing as well. I need a new housing because the circuit's gone from here, hasn't it? So even if I got a new gear, I would still need a new housing. Yeah, I think it's going to end up being quite expensive. Okay. But you can see nice and clearly at the end there, before I bash it anymore, that you can see the gears on this side are intact and the gears on that side are not. If you look at it from the ends, you can see. Okay, at least we proved what the fault was. See, this is the great thing about Bosch. They do spare parts, which is amazing. So this is actually via eBay, but you can see the spare part for the head there is just under £75. And you can buy a complete new device for about £115 delivered. So you can see the sums don't add up to actually buy a part to fix it. But you never know, in years to come, that part could become cheaper and then you would still have a working cutter. But what I'm going to do is just put it back together just to see if we can get any more life out of it. But yeah, personally, I wouldn't pay £75 for that part when you can buy a new one for £115. So I suppose what's happened is the circlip failed, and maybe from pressure or something, or from whacking too many stones, and maybe this pushed back ever so slightly and then it wasn't meshing properly and it started to skip, and it was just the other metal gear wearing this one down bit by bit because they weren't fully on the teeth. You know, the other metal gear is intact, and I suppose the edge of it is just clipping this and it's just making it wear bit by bit until it got to the stage where it's now skipping and making a horrible noise. Okay, I'll put it back together, and interestingly, this bit here was hard to get onto the bottom bit. Like before it went in really easy, but now I really had to kind of force it. So I think the whole thing is under more pressure now, because beforehand, because the axle correctly was a little bit loose in here, I got it wrong, it wasn't worn. What it meant is that the bevel gear, when I got this, was completely loose because of the circlip, and that's why it was just making the noise without rotating. When I messed with it, it rotated a little bit because there was probably a little bit more on the bevel gear because of the circlip. But now, because I've whacked that right the way into the circlip, the bevel gear, the axle, remember, it's not loose anymore. So the bevel gear is now under quite a bit of pressure because essentially I've glued the axle to the bevel gear with the bearings on it, and I think now it is going to be putting more pressure towards. I actually think it's going to work, but it's going to be extremely noisy, and I think it will fail very, very quickly. Right, so let's see. Here we go. Right. Now. Jesus. Whoa, that feels violent. Wow, well, it hasn't worked that well. I'll be honest with you, I don't feel comfortable with that on it there because that's quite a weight. I'm going to put the other thing on it, and let's go out to the garden and actually let's put this on it because I feel slightly safer with this. Because if this does come flying off, I don't think this would decapitate me, while 100% that thing would. So yeah, I'm going to swap over the ends, and then let's go to the garden. I think it is actually going to be able to cut some stuff now. Now, don't worry about the wobble there. That's not the blade that's loose. Remember, I've got the plastic cover on it, and the plastic cover is flexible. And with the spinning, it just came out a little bit like that. Okay, so I've changed the head on to the other head, which I think is going to, for me anyway, feel more safer. Obviously, completely the wrong weather. Everything's sopping wet. In fact, it's slightly drizzling as we speak. But I'm just going to give it a very quick go. I think it is actually going to last till at least the end of the video. Those famous last words. To adjust this a little bit. I haven't put the shoulder strap on. There we go. Right, here goes. Oh my word, it's powerful. Right, I'm just going to go around and do the edge of the trampoline. So it's actually very powerful. Yeah, we'll put it this way. It's like 10 times more powerful than the little Flymo strimmer that I had before. I'm going to say that I think this is actually going to last a while. And the reason is because the big axle now is putting all the pressure against that bevel gear. I had to force this bit on here. In fact, I can show you. So if I take this bit off here, you can see before it was up to this line here, and now it's not. So if I press this button in, it still comes apart, but it's under tension. Yeah, so it doesn't go on easy anymore because this hole here doesn't want to clip in. It's not in the right place anymore. Yeah, because it's too far down. So I'm having to force it using strength. Right there, and now it's gone in. So basically, there's a huge load of more pressure on, even though the circlip's not there. There's a load of pressure on that bevel gear now. So yes, the bevel gear is all chewed up, but the bits that's not chewed, I think is making a good enough connection. It's working very well.
Kettle.
Here we have a tower kettle. To me, the inside doesn't look like it's got any scale at all, so I don't really think it's had any use. But it's got no power, so nothing's happening. No light comes on, and I can't hear any boiling sound, so I don't think it's a faulty light. For whatever reason, it's not getting any power. Let's see if we can fix it. Now, I've ended up doing a few kettles, or at least 2 kettles on the channel now, so I do feel as if I've got a little bit of experience. So we can check here for 240 volts AC. Ooh, just notice we've got quite a bit of corrosion down here. Ah, all right. What somebody told me, and they're quite right, is rather than taking it apart, if you want to check the element, you don't have to take it apart because these are connected to the element. So, and I suppose this would also check this on and off switch as well. So this has one of those safety things where it will only go down when it's on the base, because there's this tiny little button just here. Can you see this little black thing just here? Yeah? And that needs to go down. So basically when that's down, you will be able to do this and it will stay down. But without that, you can't hold that down. So that just recognises this on the base. Right, so let's see. I don't know what is, what's live, neutral and earth. But do we have anything there? No. So now turn it on here. Do we have anything? No? Right, let's go to the middle one and the outer one. Nothing. Let's go to the middle and the second middle. And we got something. Oh, hold on. Yeah, 21 ohms. So I think it's okay, and when we do that, it disappears. I actually think the kettle's okay, so it's either going to be because of the corrosion, or I think it might be in here. So let's see what's what. First things first, I suppose we should check to see if we actually have AC volts here. So I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to be very careful with my leads. So I'm going to go to AC on my meter and let's see what's happening. So I presume the outer one is going to be earth. Let's go to here. The middle one's going to be positive, isn't it? Well, there we go, we haven't got anything. So it's a problem with this here. That's interesting. Do you know what I haven't checked? I haven't checked the fuse. It could be a fuse. I think it's going to be the fuse. So we go into continuity. Ta-da! It's the fuse. But has something caused the fuse to go? Or was it just a massive water leak? Did somebody pour a load of water here, put it down and it blew the fuse? Not sure. I presume this is going to be 13 amp. Yeah, let's pop another 13 amp in. Right, 13 amp. That's fine. Now let's see if you're going to start working. I'm going to say yes, but we will need to clean up the bottom of the kettle anyway. Right, plug it in now. And I'm just going to pop this on here. There's no water in, but we should be able to see the light come on for a second. There you go. See the light there? Right, okay. So I think we just need to clean it. I think it's going to be working just fine. Unplugged again. This all looks clean on here, so I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to, well, actually, there's a little bit there. While I've got the isopropyl out, I might as well clean up around here as well. Using 99% isopropyl alcohol. 99.9%. Brand new bottle. Do you know what? Maybe I should take this apart just in case there's horrible lumps of corrosion on the inside. No, that's all okay. I know that looks like scale, but I just don't think it is. I think it's just to finish off the metal because it's not painted. This is all metal, you see. Yeah, I think that's all good. So I think what's happened here, I think water's sat on here in between, for some reason a load of water was put in here and I think it's gone in between the earth and the live pin and it's just blown the plug, the fuse. It's only the outer ring anyway which is looking a little bit corroded. This copper one here looks absolutely fine and the middle pin looks fine. And with the outer one, it looks like it's going to probably land in a different place every single time anyway. Well, not, you know, that's always going to be the leads towards the back, but your kettle's never going to go on perfect every single time. It's going to move a little bit. So it's going to be hitting new bits off this outer ring. I think it's going to be just fine. And that goes on that way there. let's pop some water in. Okay, water's in. You can see it now works. Let's just see if it boils. Right, it's definitely boiling. Let's see if it turns off after a couple of minutes. Yay, there we go. Well, you can't get any easier than that. A fuse and a little bit of corrosion on it.
Tower heater.
Next up we have a Russell Hobbs Scandi tower heater. Scandi, is that short for Scandinavia? Because we have a little bit of wood, possibly. And annoyingly, it's covered in polystyrene. I hate polystyrene because the static just gets them everywhere. So I'll get a vacuum cleaner on that in a minute. And with this one, you turn it on, it seems to come alive for a second and turn off. So watch this. And now it's gone off. The fan came on for a second and then off. And that's supposed to be temperature. Let's put it on to number 1 here. Nothing. Number 2, nothing. But on that one, it comes on for just a split second. There. And then off. So I'm not sure what's happening there. It's got some anti-tilt device. So if it falls over, it won't work. So let's see now. Yeah, so it doesn't come on at all. Off. Not sure what's happening there. I really don't know, because when I see something like this I instantly think thermal fuse, but if it was thermal fuse it'd be completely dead, so I'm not quite sure what's making it come on and off straight away, even on the cold setting there, because that's not even those hot settings. Also that feels especially loose. Doesn't really feel like it's doing anything, you know. Let's take it apart and see if it will become obvious. Okay, as you can see, this thing is new, so I think it's faulty from manufacture, or maybe on the initial delivery. I just want to see if this thing's actually spinning. Yes, it is, yeah. Looks like it might be a bit off-centre though. And we're going to have to get some long, thin screwdrivers to get in here. I'm going to use my special screwdriver that gets me into anything. Is it going to work here? Yes, it's going to work perfectly. It's a little flathead with the end bit shaved off. It works on everything. Now these look like wood, but unfortunately I think they're some sort of horrible plastic. From a distance they look okay though. They've got like a rubberized feel to them. Power consumption 2000 watts. Okay, so that's 6 screws undone. Let's see how many come out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Right, now, is this going to come off here? Right, there's a bit of a scratch down this way. So this is wanting to come off, but I don't think the top is. So maybe we have to take the knob off at the front. Or is there more clips that I can't see? Oh, there is a clip. No, there's a clear. There, annoyingly, there's clips. There we go. Excellent. Obviously I am unplugged, that goes without saying. Now, oh, not too bad. Right, so is this turning? Yeah, that's turning just fine. So we have the motor at the bottom here. Don't even know where the anti-tilt thing is. Oh, this is the anti-tilt thing here, I think. It actually says that it can rattle and it's normal during transportation with the tip over switch. Now, can I see anything that's obvious? This is pulled extremely tight. Why? Why have they done that so tight? It's like a guitar string. Twang. So we have the mains coming in, and then the blue goes off straight into the motor. And then the brown goes to a tilt switch. And the blue goes up here as well into what looks like the element. What's this? So this is a thermostat here. Let's see if that's working. Oh, it is working, look. Yeah, I can hear it click. There. That's the thermostat there. Very similar to a kettle. And it is joining and breaking, so I think that's okay. If you look just here, you will see that it will join and break. There. So that is okay. Ah, we got a little switch here. Is it something to do with that? That's when it gets too hot, that will cut off. But I wonder, is it not passing through there? Let's see if we have continuity through that there. Yes, we do. So, is it something to do with the switch? So this is in the off position. Let's just put it to position 1, so if we can work out what's happening. So, continuity there. No continuity, no continuity. Let me just go to off a minute to make sure there's no continuity anywhere. No continuity. No. So this is the same kind of switch that was in the other fan that I did. One of the Advent ones. So we've got it there now. And we should also have it this side. But not there. And then when we do that, it's going to liven up this one here and this one. That switch is working. Right, what is stopping? Do you reckon it's the motor that's... do you reckon there's something wrong with the motor? Oh, there's another one down here. Another heater, bimetallic switch. Let's see if we have continuity through that one. Yes, we have, yeah. Yes, we've got it going right the way up. So from the red wire, which is this tilt switch, maybe the problem is the tilt switch. So the red wire goes from the tilt switch at the bottom right the way up into here. I wonder, is the problem with the tilt switch? So we haven't got anything there at the moment. Now I'm going to stand it upright and see if we have something. Yes. No. Yes. Tilt switch is working. There's no circuit board on here, so it's not that something's sensing that too much energy is being drawn and it stops. What on earth is wrong? I can see that we have a little bit of heat shrink over here. And it looks like it might have been screwed down onto that a bit. Can you see there? But this would be unaware, even if the screw was shorting with it, this is unaware that it's been shorted. It's not metal, you know? So that wouldn't be anything. Unless, of course, we might actually have a break. Let's look. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Oh no, there's enough wires there to make a contact, I think. Yeah, that's not it. We'll have to fix it. But that's fine. I think what I'm going to do here just quickly is I'm going to put a lump of solder in there and then shrink that down on top of it. Because then, if you know, these couple of strands here that have gone, they're all going to be then melted together. So I'm just going to put a nice lump of solder in that and then put that down. Save me having to replace the whole wire. This one for me is a little bit of a mystery, but I like it because we should be able to work out what's happening with it because there's not too much to it. I'm just going to flood this area with solder. There we go. And now we'll shrink it down. Well, let's check from the plug forward. So I fixed up that wire there, but as you've seen, there was full continuity through it. It wasn't actually faulty. I just thought I might as well just put a bit of solder on just to join the cut strands with the rest of the cable. I know it's not going to flex there anymore because of the solder, but I don't see why it needs to flex there anyway. The wire's just sat there. It doesn't need to be moving. So I spent about another 15-20 minutes going across everything, checking for continuity everywhere. We've already done the switch. You've seen that's okay. We've already done the little bimetallic switches, they're okay, and we did the tilt switch. But you know what I didn't check? I don't think I checked the actual thermostat. So right now it's working. I've got continuity everywhere. I put it all back together and it's working. But I've got a theory now when I'm editing that I didn't have when I was actually filming it. So let me show you it back together working, and then let me do a little bit of filming to tell you what I think it may actually have been. Okay, now if you look at this here, so first of all I can hear it clicking. So when I do this, it clicks just there. And it works on every single setting. So that's just cold air. Then we have one hot air, and then we have the second heat setting. So, you know, cool, hot, hotter. And it's working absolutely fine every single time I've used it. And watch this, the thermostat works. Because you can see it will go off there. So you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that it's got a nice bit of heat to it, and also I can smell that it's warm, meaning that it's new. I don't think this has ever been used. I noticed there was a big ding down here. I'm just going to show you a part of the video where I was using string to pull it back out. I think what's happened here is it got dropped, and I think something got stuck in between the thermostat, and that's why it wasn't making a good contact, and maybe it was only coming on for a second because it was possibly just barely making a contact. I'm not too sure. That's the only thing I can think of, because there was continuity everywhere that I checked, but I don't think I checked right across the thermostat. I checked to make sure it was opening and closing, but I don't think I checked for continuity. So I don't actually know what was wrong with this one, because I couldn't find anything wrong with it. Clearly it was faulty at the beginning. It's been sent back by the customer. It's been sold to me as faulty, and I verified it was faulty, but now it's working every single time. It's not hit and miss. I could do this 100 times and it's going to work every single time. Obviously, if the thermostat's off, then it's not going to work on any setting, even the cold. So that's the only thing that I can think of, is that there was dirt or something, a bit of plastic maybe, in between the thermostat. And by me even just taking it apart to begin with, that fell out in between the thermostat. And from the moment I took it apart, it's working. It's just that I didn't have it plugged in to see if it was working, because obviously I had the cover off and stuff like that. So I think that's why I've got continuity when I was doing all my testing. because as soon as I took it apart, whatever was lodged in that fell out. That's the only thing I can think of. If you can think of anything else, please let me know. As well as that, I did go across all the little spade connectors and pushed them all in to make sure they were all okay. They weren't loose as far as I could see, but maybe they weren't. I mean, I would have seen if they were loose, so I think it must be the thermostat. So yeah, there we go. Not the most interesting to fix this because I didn't verify what the fault was, but at least the product is working now.
Fancy steamer.
Here we have a Tefal Pure Pop. It's a steamer. What's interesting is when you press the button, so right now it's on here, when you press the button, nothing happens. But I can actually get it to work. So watch it again, press the button, nothing happens. But if you see, I'm pressing it abnormally slow. But look, once I've got it down, I can press that as hard as I want and nothing happens. But now watch this, if I hit it quick, hold on. Ooh, I wasn't doing that before. Maybe it's gone into standby. 1 second. There we go. Right. So watch this again. Slow. Nothing happens, and I can hold it down now. It's not steaming. Yeah. But now if I do it quick, it doesn't like my thumb. When I do it with my finger, I can get it to work. There. Isn't that weird? And I can feel it vibrate. So I can actually get it to work every single time. You have to hit it quick. And why would it not work on my thumb though? Now weird, look, it won't work on my thumb. There we go, work that time. But now, not that time. Even though, yeah, see now it's not working. So, if it was screwed together, I'd take it apart, but it looks like it's clipped. What I might do to begin with is, I might get some deoxit, try to spray it in here, just in case it's a bit of an iffy contact and we might be able to get it fixed. But it's just weird how it's not working like that, but when you do it quick, there, and it works. Very, very strange. Let's see if deoxit will clean it out. Now, I just took this off here and I did see that there's two little bits here. I wonder whether or not, if we undo them, I am unplugged, if we undo them, I wonder whether that uncovered two screws. So I want to be careful here, because I don't want to have to glue it back together. But look here, I reckon this all here might be clipped once we undo them two. If that's the case, then if I can actually get access to the switch, we can find out what's happening. Because clearly somebody sent it back to begin with, and then somebody sold it as well as faulty. So there's definitely an issue with the switch. Just don't know if these are glued in or whether they're popped in or not. Yeah, they are. They're popped in. Yes, two little screws. Well, let's undo them and see if it starts to ease apart. It's confusing to me why it works hard but not soft. I think it must be because it's only just barely making the contact, and by going hard you're sort of crushing it down, and when you do soft, but even when it's soft I can put as much strength on as I want, then it still won't work. So that doesn't really make any sense. You can see it's a brand new item. Right now, so you're going to come off there. Is there any more hidden screws anywhere? It's going to come off there. Don't think there's anything under here, but there might be one of these flat ones under here as well. There could be. Let's see if it starts to unclip. I think there's more holding this in. Oh no, maybe not. Hold on. Right, that's that power button. Well, there's definitely nothing under there because we're free. We're free there. So, does this thing come off? Now what follows is about 10 to 15 minutes of me really trying to pry it apart, but I've got to be a little bit careful because you see, if this is glued, then I could completely ruin it. And right now it is a working product, it just doesn't work correctly. I'm thinking, well, there is no teardown videos on this online, so I can't copy somebody else. Also, if it wasn't working at all, then the product is useless. So I would go hell for leather taking this thing apart. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking it is actually working, and cleaning the switch with deoxit might fix it. So I'm kind of doing a half attempt to take it apart. I'm thinking the top bit, the actual head of it where the steam comes out, I'm thinking maybe that's glued onto the main body, and then if you were to take that off, then the body would separate into two, but I don't actually know. Anyway, I do try to prise it with a fair bit of strength, and I can open it up a little bit by the switch, but I can't take it apart. So there's no point in watching me struggle for the next 12 or 13 minutes. Let's just get to the bit where I'm going to spray deoxit in it. Even taking it apart as much as I've done, it will give me more access to the switch, but I can't actually tell you what that switch is. I can't tell you whether it's enclosed or whether it's open and the deoxit's getting right in there, because I can't actually open it enough to see what's on the inside. So anyway, let's cut to when I actually start spraying inside. I'm just going to use some deoxit fader just purely because it's an aerosol, so it means I can actually, direct it right in here. Don't even know exactly where the switch is. Right, I'm not going to put it back together, I'm just going to leave it like that, just to see what's happening now. So I'm going to plug it in. And, oh no, I have to put the switch back in, don't I? I don't want to risk pressing that. Okay, right, turn on carefully. I've got a light on while it heats up. Oh, fantastic, I can hear it already. Listen, I'm just barely tapping that and it's working. I don't know if you can hear that there's like a hum. Look at that. I'm barely tapping it now. It's working every time. Fantastic. Okay, let's unplug it. Right, so either the prying has kind of knocked the back of the switch into place, or the deoxit has worked its magic. And I'm going to say the deoxit's worked its magic because this stuff really is magic. 20-something pound can, but it lasts a long time and it is just really, really good. Right, let's put the screws back in. See if I can get the clips to go back on again. There we go. Even feels more clicky. Right, it's working every single time, and interestingly I only have to go a little bit down on the switch before it works. Now obviously you can't feel the vibrations, but I can feel the vibrations. So if I just do this now, watch this, real slow, real slow, real slow. Now it's vibrating and it starts to work. And look, I've got all that to go. So before you had to press it right the way in, while now you only have to go to there and it's working. So whether I do it fast or slow, it's vibrating every single time. Not sure if you can hear that. So yeah, it's working perfectly, but it doesn't look as good as it did before. To begin with, the deoxid's taken off a bit of the paint up here, and also it's a little bit chewed up down here. But at least it's fully functional. It just doesn't look quite as nice as it did before. But it's working every single time, which is good. Shame we didn't get to see the inside of the switch. I don't know, was it the pry-in that has knocked the switch into place, or whether the deoxid's cleaned the switch out, not too sure. But either way, it's working now.
Finito.
Well, there we have it. Overall, I think a nice little successful job lot of fixes. A range of items and a range of fixes within those items as well. So what did I enjoy the most? I think I probably enjoyed the iron the most, because it was easy to fault find, yet it was a proper fix and a lasting fix as well. I would happily pass that on to somebody else. And the multimeter was nice, that you could just see that there was no continuity across the thermostat there. So I think that was my favourite. Something like this I would never pass on to someone else, because I don't know if it's going to work for 10 more minutes or whether it's going to work for 100 hours. I have no idea, but I think that might be a lasting fix for myself, because I'm rarely going to use it. Now that that bevel gear at the end is under a lot of strain, I'm thinking that it's onto a good bit of metal on that gear, because remember there was a nice chip out of about 4 or 5 off the teeth, but it wasn't all the way down. So I think now it's meshing quite nicely, so that might well go on to last a while. So yeah, all in all, a nice little job lot. I really enjoyed myself in that one, and I hope you did too. There's still plenty more to do in those Amazon boxes, but I think for this video I've gone through enough items. If you have enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, and hopefully I will see you again on another Amazon job lot very, very soon. Take care everyone.